Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's pretty crazy for me to post more than once in 6 months, but hey, I had the bug for making more videos, so I thought, why not? So let's get right into the actual point of the video. These are my top 5 favorite records that I own. I'll tell you the story behind them, and I'll tell you why they're so interesting and important to me, but also why they might be interesting to you. So let's get this started with Laminated Denim. This record is from King Gizzard and Lizard Weezer. Came out in 2022. Actually came out, let me get my notes. It came out October 12th of 2022. And then I saw King Gizzard October 11th and bought this at Red Rocks. I saw them at Red Rocks last year. But as you can see, this is not your regular version of laminated denim. It is actually made of denim. It's like recycled denim. It has this really cool texture to it. The back, there's nothing to the back, but on the front, all this is embroidered. You can actually, feel it. It's really nice. And this guy is a sequel to the, what was it called? Adventures in Timeland? In Timeland? What is that record called? Let me grab it. Yeah, it's a sequel to the Made in Timeland record. And like Made in Timeland, this album only has 2 songs, and they're both 15 minutes long. And they're only 15 minutes long. This album came with The Land Before Timeland and Hypertension, which I prefer the latter, but both are really, really great. I honestly think this might be my favorite of the October releases that we got last year for King Gizzard. If you're not aware, obviously King Gizzard's a very prolific band, and they released, what was it? It was 3 records in October of last year, so 1 year ago or so. Yeah, so there's like Ice, Death, Planet, Lava, something, that record, and then those changes, and there was this. I prefer this, I think, ultimately. I've listened to this way more than the other 2, and that might just because I have this sort of connection to this. Other interesting facts that I've written down here. There are only 3,000 copies of this record, of this version of this record. That's the laminated denim thing. When I went to the show, they had 3 different variants of this record. They had a darker denim, which is more similar to what the album looks like on streaming services, and also if you buy like a regular vinyl of this. And then there was this light one, and then there was an in-between. That was kind of whatever. I decided to go for the one that wasn't like the record you would usually see, because I think that's kind of fun and unique. And then later I learned that they only sold these guys at those Red Rock shows. I didn't even know that. So next on my top 5 records that I own, it is a Weezer record, ginormous Weezer fan, and I found this record in Denver at Twist and Shout. I believe it was like 3 years ago or so. I went straight to the back to look at Weezer, and this thing was just sitting there used, right? And I just had to buy it. I can't even remember how much I bought it for, maybe like $50 or something, but it's this bad boy. If you're a Weezer fan at all, you know how weird this thing is. It's a compilation record that came out in 2010. I believe Hurley, their previous record, came out in September of 2010. This came out in November of 2010, and Rivers was quoted as saying, this is like the obvious record after Hurley, which is strange. But it's a compilation record that has songs that were demoed, and I think earliest was 1998, that weird little limbo period for Weezer after Pinkerton and before the Green album. But there's songs like that, and there's songs that were made for the Red album. There are songs that were just made for this. This one isn't from 2010, it's from 2014. It's the only time this thing has been on vinyl, and it was limited edition, whatever that really means. I couldn't find the exact number, but this thing is numbered, and I'll get to that. You know what? No, I'll get to it right now. This thing, what makes this thing so special, not only is it a really weird Weezer record to have, but shaboom, if you can see that. It's the funny number. It's 969. I have number 969. So this is a treasured object for me, obviously. Very funny to have that. Now, when it comes to songs that are decent on this record, I wrote a few down. I personally liked the Turning Up the Radio is the first song off the record, and it was a song that Rivers wrote with fans in this, I think it's like a 15-part series on his YouTube channel called Let's Write a Song, S-A-W-N-G, Song.
Hey, it's Rivers Cuomo. Here's the deal. I'm in my music studio trying to write a song, and I need your help. Who's my homie? It's ATS5. Bro, you gotta work on your name. Come up with something a little more poetic.
So the end result is kind of like a bunch of fans coming together and Rivers coming together, which is very unique and interesting. So that's a fun listen. It's not like amazing, but it's fun. Autopilot is, I really like this like weird synth thing that Rivers is going for in this song. And it also has really strange lyrics. Like it's like he's following his dog and he collects his poop and then like does science on it or something, like studies it. I don't know. But it's a really unique song for Weezer. It has a very unique sound for them. And then lastly, there's a song called I Don't Want Your Loving, which I think is the second or third track off this album. And it was actually originally demoed for Maladroit back in 2002. So it kind of feels like that green Maladroit era Weezer. It also has a really fun ending that sort of like strips down all of the, most of the instruments and like only does this like cool little jam. Check this out. Check this record out. Check out Laminated Denim. Both are Laminated Denim is very, very, very much better than this, but this is a cool thing to have. And the next record I have in my collection of my top 5 favorite records is a Paul McCartney record. If you watched my previous video, you know I just got that really weird version of Band on the Run that had Silly Love Songs replacing the song Band on the Run. So it starts with Silly Love Songs. Strange. Check out that video if you want to see what that thing looks like. But I have another McCartney bootleg thing. Saw a second of it. Ooh. If you're a big Paul McCartney fan, you'll know about this record. This is Cold Cuts. It's essentially a scrapped idea for a greatest hits record slash production room floor songs that Paul never released was the original idea. This bad boy was originally supposed to be released in 1975. That was the idea, to do this hot hits. So, you know, some of the biggest Wings stuff and then Cold Cuts. So it's like the scraps, Cold Cuts, scraps, you get it. But it was scrapped. And I do believe it was because the label, either Columbia or Capitol, I can't remember which one, was like, why would we sell, your scraps? Why would we sell your scraps? So that kind of ultimately led to that, I think it was 1978, the Wings' greatest record that came out. So this was kind of a weird like sibling to that. Anyways, Paul liked this idea, obviously, because he worked on it up until like the late 80s, but then it was like dropped entirely. This bad boy was printed in 1987, I believe, by Who Knows? On the label here says Club Sandwich, which was like a Paul McCartney fan base magazine, but I believe there's no evidence that Club Sandwich made these. I'm not 100% sure. I heard that on a podcast once. I'm not 100%. But this is really, really strange. And actually, I'm going to take out the record here so you can see the back cover. You know what? I'm going to take the plastic off too so you can see it better. Schwa, right? This is the back cover. Obviously, lays out the track listing, but it also has these cartoons, which I don't know who drew these. I hope it was Paul, but it really reminds me of another artist who does something very similar and who I think is not the same, but sometimes experiments with the same ideas and same sounds. That's Mac DeMarco. I think Mac DeMarco and Paul McCartney are very similar. Not the same, but sometimes it feels like, especially some like unreleased stuff on Ram and McCartney 1 and even like McCartney 2, like it just sound like Mac DeMarco. A little bit. Huge fan of both, so I'm just making connections. When it comes to the track listing of this guy, in 1987, when this thing was, released illegally, all these tracks had never been heard before by the general public. Now that the Paul McCartney archive collection dealio has happened or has been releasing stuff, a lot of these tracks are available on Spotify, but some are still not. I believe Waterspout isn't, and Cage, Did We Meet Somewhere Before, same time next year. I think all of those songs have never been released officially. But when it comes to like songs I would say you should check out, number one, definitely check out Waterspout. Waterspout is very, very fun. It's very, very catchy. It was originally supposed to be released on All of the Best. I think it was like an 86, 87, whatever for a Paul McCartney compilation greatest hits record, basically. I would definitely check out that guy, super catchy. Cage was originally supposed to be the ending song for Back to the Egg, which I'm a huge fan of that record. Now listen, I really like the ending of Back to the Egg with My Baby's Request, or Baby's Request. I can't remember how it's said, but that song is incredible. I love it. It's a great ender. But Cage, man, I love the chorus to Cage. I remember when I found this record, I bought it online and listened to all the way through. Like, Cage was the song that was like, I loved it. Immediately fell in love with it. So anyway, Cold Cuts, fantastic record. I'm super happy to have this. I'm kind of sad I bought it online. There's no real other story to that. There's nothing more, but I'm super, super, super happy to have it. The next record I have in my top 5 records in my record collection, how many times can I say record? 4 times, is another King Gizzard record that I got in 2021. I remember exactly where I was when I got it because I bought it online, and usually records at that time were just out the door. I mean, it's still the same thing. But either way, if you're a King Gizzard fan, you know that like when a new record comes out, they come out with a bunch of variants, and it is a storm to get it. And I remember it used to be even crazier when Flightless was doing King Gizzard's records, or at least it seemed crazier to me. Either way, here it is. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards, LW, the second part to King Gizzard's self-titled records, kind of, KG and LW. When this thing came out, I wasn't a huge fan of KG and LW. Like, I was like, whatever. I would rather a concept record that's like a story rather than a concept record that's like a sound. But I have really learned to love these things. I love KG and LW. Of course, I have both, but my KG one isn't cool looking. I'm gonna open it up just so that like this shines even more. Like, that is so cool. I'm looking at it through the viewer and it's just, oh. One really cool thing about this record, as I was kind of relating to, I think this is one of the last flightless versions of a King Gizzard record, because shortly after, I'm not sure why, but they seemingly cut ties and King Gizzard started to produce their own records instead of running all the records through Flightless. So yeah, I remember I was in a bar in Lander, Wyoming, and I was just sitting on my phone drinking my drink, and when it came on sale, immediately bought it. And the version I bought, there was a few that are iridescent, I believe that's the word, like this. But I bought the really cool broccoli latte version of it. It's just green. It's like a matte green. I mean, it's not like as cool as the cover, but it's cool to have, you know. Now, when it comes to like the limited factor of this, there's only about 2,000 of these bad boys in the world, which is kind of cool. It's not my most limited thing I have, but it's a neat thing to own. And if you're thinking about checking this record out, I have 3 songs that I think are really, really great, and that is If Not Now, Then When, the first song off this record. I think it might be one of my favorite King Gizzard songs of all time. I think it's a very, very fun and unique sound for them. Stu is in a higher register. It's mostly keyboard led, and the music video too is amazing as well, so give that definitely a try. And then the other songs, actually my 2 other favorite songs from this record come out like, or come right after, comes right after, oh my god, my 2 other favorite songs come right after this song, and that's One and Plura. I love these 3 songs so much. I honestly, if I was showing anybody King Gizzard for the first time, I would very much consider one of those 3 songs, if not all of those 3 songs. I think they're fantastic and great, and I'm super happy that I bought this record when I hadn't even heard like a lick of it. And it turns out that I quite enjoy, at least I really enjoy the first half. Second half, I mean, the ending song is pretty good, but the rest of it's fine. The rest of it's fine. And lastly, in my top 5 records that I have in my record collection is a Black Country New Road record. I am a ginormous fan of theirs. I believe it was 2021 when I first listened to their new album, their first album, for the first time. It blew my mind. It felt like a very important moment in my music listening habits. We all know this as music people, because I assume only music people are watching this, that when you hear a specific album for the first time, it feels like something's changed. Like, it has deeply impacted you. And that's how I felt with Black Country New Road immediately. The thing that I have is this bad boy, which you may or may not recognize. This is sort of the, not sequel to the first record, but it's sort of a bullshit release for Black Country New Road, so it's like not amazing, but it's still pretty cool. It's a covers record that they did. It's called Never Again. It's just like their first record with the like kind of Polaroid frame happening here. And the songs that they cover are pretty strange. We have Mamma Mia and Chiquita, ABBA songs, and we have Time to Pretend, a MGMT song, and then Someone Like You, an Adele song. Very weird selections. You would think they would go with something more, I don't know, like improv-y based, but they went with sort of hit songs, which I absolutely love. Now, one really interesting thing about this record specifically is that the lead singer, Isaac Wood, I believe, he quit the band in 2022, right before their second record came out. And so ever since then, they've obviously continued as a band, but now they don't have their lead singer, and I believe Isaac wrote a lot of the songs, so a lot of things changed. And I absolutely fell in love with Isaac's voice and his lyricism, and his songwriting. And I don't want to give all the credit to him, because obviously the rest of the band are incredible, but I just fell in love with that sound of the first two records. So this is kind of the third and last like Isaac-led Black Country New Road release, which again, it's kind of bullshit, you know, it's just a fun cover thing. I mean, they're even making fun of it by being like, we'll never do this again. And then they made fun of that by releasing Never Again 2 or Part 2, which I still don't have, but I'll get it at some point. Either way, super, 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 super cool to have. And I'm realizing now I should have like put all the records behind me this entire time, because that's kind of like the point of having the wall. I guess that'll be the concluding thing. So we got Black Country New Road, Never Again, Shaboom, Shaboom. We have King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's LW, Shaplow. We have Paul McCartney's My Illegal Copy of Cold Cuts from 1987 or so. Shaboom. Death to False Metal, Weezer's compilation record that's very strange. Shabam. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Laminated Denim, also by King Gizzard. Super fun thing to have, and there is no place to put this. Maybe I can just, you know, keep a still here. No, I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, so that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's any other content you would like to see. Obviously, I have way too many records, so I can show you more. I think next time I do a record hunt, I'll do a very similar video like I made last time. Again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, and I will see you guys later.